How you doing, sir?
Just great. Ready to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, actually, I was pondering a strange subject, but we've never talked about it. And the subject that I was pondering was time.
Time?
Now, time, T-I-M-E.
Yeah.
I like to say that time, for me, I used to say that time was a theoretical instrument measuring eternity.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's theoretical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's relative.
It has no life but what you give it. You understand?
So,
it has
I
no
do.
life.
Go ahead, please.
You know, time. People say, "Oh, time seems to go so slow," or "Time seems to go so fast." That's you. The time's not going anywhere. It's always now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I recall in listening to Neville, and it's probably even been recently, was him talking about having a conversation with this scientist, and he was talking about, in his imagination, going back in time and seeing an event from other than what the actual event was, and how in changing that event in his mind, that it can begin changing how you perceive that event and also begin changing the end result. Have you ever heard that or experienced that?
No, not in that way, but it's all very familiar, to tell you the truth. But you see, we're not talking about mind, our brain. We're talking about consciousness. And consciousness it's open to anything coming through. It is when we decide what should come through and make the change in our thinking about things, because thoughts are things, and they will wind up in your experiences. So just make sure you're only thinking about things that are lovely and of good report.
What you're saying then is that we give meaning to the thought.
That's it. That's it. If you think about it, you're giving it life. You're feeding it. You're giving it water. You're planting it, and it will grow, and it'll grow into your experience. Got something to think about, you know?
It is something to think about. It's actually a very deep subject if you sit there and you ponder that, because most of us haphazardly think anyway. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right, but you see, the thing of it is that they don't take it serious. They don't think about things serious. You know, yeah, I heard that, yeah, I like that, but that's okay, but yeah, later. You see, it's we who actually give ourselves a suggestion when we're thinking about things. We're suggesting to ourselves, and it's done so subtly that we're unaware that we're being suggested to, even in our own conversations. But we are, and we also follow the suggestion with an impression and then an expression.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. You said something the other day when we were talking, and you were talking about the money changers. And you made mention, because most people don't see it this way, they've never considered. You said that Jesus was really operating from his own mind. The money changers were those thoughts and those ideals and the things that he found in his own mind. So could we say the exact same thing when Jesus was being tempted by the devil that one hears is the devil of one's own imagination?
Yes, it is. Look, God made everything. He made the good, he made the evil, he made it all. And we're experiencing it. The fellow says, well, how do I know what I'm here to do? You're doing it. You're experiencing life. You don't have to take any thought for that. Actually, it's really well, on one hand, it's a very welcome idea, and on the other hand, it's scary as hell.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what it is. When you really find out that it's out of your own mouth that you're whipping yourself. And then God tells you, you behold me not, but I'm suffering with you. Only God suffers, we're told. Even we're not the ones suffering. This is all an act. It's all secondhand. It's all a virtual reality. But we're given it on the plane of the playing of humanity, and we're working it out by thought. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So you're working it out by thought. Thoughts are things. If you don't want to see them in your world, stop thinking it and think something else that you do want in your world. That's the whole idea of think only on things that are lovely and of good report, is that you're thinking of what you really want rather than what you don't. But most people do much time thinking of what they don't want.
Based off, of course, what we were talking about, this subject being, of course, thoughts being things, and how we're manifesting those things in our life because of what we're giving our attention to. It's good to see that people get it. I mean, from listening to Neville to listen to what it is that we're putting out there and other people who are doing likewise.
Yeah, when someone calls in, you see, they're warmed up to what you're saying. The thing is that it must be onward. You know, you have to leave yourself open to this, because you have to hear it again and again. Calling once is wonderful, but hey, get something to really listen to so that you actually understand what you're doing, because you're the one doing it.
Even with you saying that, I'm concerned with, and of course when I say concerned, I'm really not concerned, but it's a use of words, but I'll stay with that train of thought. I'm concerned for the person that will hear it, and swoosh, it goes right over the head. So it goes back to what you just said a moment ago. We have to keep listening, because if we keep listening, there's going to be that time where it clicks, as it did with you, as it did with me, as it does with other people who have heard these truths, and they understand that they are, in fact, creating.
Do you know that when people are sitting and thinking, if they would consider that thoughts are literally things, and that your thinking about them is actually drawing them to you, or something will come to you. No man comes to me but what my Father sent him. And he sends him according to as you think you are. And so you're always in control. Every day, choose this day, you're told. This day. It's always this day. Yesterday, it's never tomorrow. It's always this day. Choose this day. Stop dragging your nonsense into today. It'll be a nice day. And hey, all things produce after their own kind. So if you have a nice day, you'll have another nice day. And as long as you keep it going, you'll be going with it. It says, they themselves are makers of themselves. That's not from Lindell. That's from Scripture. They themselves are makers of themselves. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So is she. So you're in control. Take control. That's the only difference you're suffering, is that you're out of control when you're just not aware that you're controlling.
Even with the chaos, you're in control.
That's it. In fact, you're actually naturally in control. You see what I mean? Because it was, well, I can't sit around and think things are lovely all the time when they're not. Of course, you're right.
You know, I laugh because it's very easy to miss the play on words.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Even in saying that things are not lovely, you're creating more things are not lovely.
That's it. Because you said things. That means the whole layout gets filled up.
Absolutely.
Filling yourself up with what you don't want. That sounds like kind of not being on your own side.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
You may want to tell that story, please. Your conversation with Neville about being on your own side.
Yeah, that's it. He says, well, I don't think you're on your own side. What? Well, you don't sound like it. The thing of it is, something said so simple like that, and there's no going on and on. Something simple like that can really cause you to think about it. You see, just that simple. It's like saying, all things produce after their own kind. So you're about making a kind. You're about making a mold. In your thinking and feeling, you're molding your future. And subconscious mind isn't going to question you no matter what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. So whatever you're receiving because that's what you sent out as a model. So make a good one.
Absolutely. Let me add something to that. When you stated, and you're molding your future, I think that sometimes the mind races ahead. When Lindell says that you're creating your future, he's talking about the very next moment.
Yes.
It's not something that's way off into this futuristic tomorrow.
But, it could be.
It could be.
Very future from you because you don't see it as something that can happen now. See, you're the one who's regulating. I mean, if you're wholehearted, it's now. It'll be now. If you can become wholehearted about what you say you believe, that's it. You got it. Otherwise, it takes a time sense because we're building on it. We're getting our believing together. Because, come on, who's going to just believe this because they hear it?
Absolutely, and it's true. I want to add this, what you just said. Let's say 50, 100 years ago, the mindset said that it took 40 years to build an inheritance of $1 billion. Today, young people believe that in 2 or 3 years that they can be billionaires. Because they believe that you got the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musk and these guys that over less than 10 years, they're creating billion-dollar empires. And it goes back to what you're saying, that if a person believes wholeheartedly that I can be a millionaire, then that person can be immediately on his way to becoming a millionaire within the next year. Go ahead, please.
The thing of it is, it's actually devastating to people who do get $1 million. I mean, they wipe themselves out. They do. And there's a long story about. In fact, there was a magazine a long time ago on the rack store, and it was about that. They were talking about people who got a lot of money. They're not prepared for what they're asking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're not prepared for it, and it winds up being a detriment to their health. And they don't really understand that it's all a self cause. They're the one who's crippling themselves. Mm-hmm. No one's doing it for them, and that's what they must understand. In other words, Jesus made it very clear. He said, "With these stripes, you are healed," and He's already got the stripes. So you're healed. Take it, believe it. It's all it takes. Whatever you believe, He says, that's what you'll get. What you really believe. See, that's where you want to listen to what you were saying about what Neville said, the voice behind the voice.
Correct.
See, it's that guy that's talking behind your ear. He's not really got your best interest in heart. So you gotta kind of watch him. That's the dual nature that we're dealing with. See, and that's what everyone's dealing with, the dual nature. And dropping one of them is kind of difficult.
Outstanding point. That's outstanding. And let's forget about even money. It could be weight loss. It could be better health.
That's it.
What we think, though, is that when we achieve whatever this better is, that all of our problems are going away. A lot of times what better than brings about is worse than something else. So let's say your health improves, and now all of a sudden you're out dating, but because you're more attractive, you're attracting the wrong type of people, and you're thinking that becoming that better than person, that life is going to be perfect. And everything that you deal with, whether it be more money, better health, or less money, poorer health, they all come with their own consequences.
Hey, that perfection can only beget perfection. So everything is perfect as it's supposed to be according to the model that we made.
Yeah.
Right down to the least little detail. You want to remember that it when you're dressing your world, as you're told to do, to dress your world, everything's going to be included that you're thinking feelingly about. So make sure that what you're thinking feelingly about is good and lovely. Really. Do you think that's it?
I agree. What people who have achieved any level of success, what they say is, be happy now. And that's what I love about Neville. And even as I listen to many of his audio programs, Neville lived in the moment. And that's what I love about Lindell. Lindell also lived in the moment. I've not experienced too many people that experience the level of joy that Lindell experienced.